Hey guys, welcome to this video and my channel. My name is Heather. I am the owner and creator here at Wicked Whiskey Designs, and today it is all about the Rainbow Argyle. How freaking spangly is that? This came out so pretty. I love this cup. This was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be, and it was super fun to make. So I'm going to go ahead, show you everything you need to know so that you can make this cup too. Down below, I've got linked all of the products that I used to make this tumbler, so that if you are looking for anything that I've used, it's down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. This is a relatively new channel. I have a ton of content on the way. You wouldn't even believe some of the stuff we're going to be doing. So you definitely want to get notified of when those videos drop. Hopefully every Saturday, if not twice a week. Don't forget to hang out for the tips and tricks section at the end of the video. It's where I share with you all of the tips and tricks that I learned along the way to make this cup as easy and as perfect as possible. It's a little more casual, a little more chill, but it's a lot of fun. So definitely check that out too. I think that's pretty much it for this intro. I'm going to go ahead and get started, show you everything you need to know to make this amazing cup. Let's go have some fun. Okay guys, so what's the plan for today? We have spray painted this in white. I figured you did not need to watch me, spray paint another cup in white. So started with a fully sanded and prepped cup, spray painted it white. We're going to move over to the vinyl wrapping section of the program. We're going to wrap this in rainbow holographic vinyl. We are then going to send that to epoxy. After the epoxy, we're going to add our black Argyle diamonds. We're going to paint the bottom black, we're going to rim out the top black, and then we're going to send it for epoxy again, and then we're going to do our really very pretty holographic stripes on here. So lots of work to do today. Let's go get started. Okay guys, so if you are wondering why we are spray painting this thing white and then wrapping it all up and we're going to bottom and top it out in black anyway, the reason is this. This is supposed to be a much bigger piece, but it ripped, so we'll work with it anyway. This is the vinyl that we're wrapping the tumbler in. And as it is right now, like, I cannot see through it this way. But honestly, if I put it up to like sun, I can see through it. So it's got like probably a 1% chance, 1% level of transparency here. I don't want to put it on black because I just don't. I don't want to put it on black because I'm afraid it's going to sum in 1%, dull this out, darken it out, and it's just not what I want. So we're going to do it in white. That way, when we wrap this, it's going to be as bright and colorful as it possibly can be, and then we're just going to bottom and top out in black. So that's why we're doing it that way, in case you were wondering. Okay, so next we're going to go ahead and wrap the tumbler with your holographic vinyl. Start by trimming off a small section of the vinyl backing, and then line that up on your cup. Press firmly. Slowly start spinning your tumbler and pressing your vinyl to it in a very, like I said, go slow. You don't need to rush on this. You want to make sure you're not getting any bubbles. You're not trying to get any wrinkles. If you do, you can lightly pull up on the vinyl, readjust, fix your, whoopsie there, and then move on. Grab a pair of scissors or a craft knife, trim off the bottom and the top so that you have a straight line going all the way around, and then send it to epoxy. Be sure to put a very small thin layer of epoxy on your cup and then blow out all of your micro bubbles with a torch. Okay, so our cup is done to this point. I sanded down this top and I sanded down the bottom. I know my knife wasn't nearly as sharp as I thought it was, so I'm pretty ratchet on both the top and the bottom, but I'm not worried about that. We're going to go ahead and fix that at the end. Now, what we want to do is cut out our Argyle pattern to go on here. Now, how I do it is I have a handy dandy old school tape measure. All right, now I know this is going to be about 8, which it is. Okay, that's fine. I'm not worried so much about that as I am what it is going around. So going around, I'm at like 9.5 inches. And no matter how many times I do this, I always double check myself, because the worst thing is to take all that time cutting a pattern and you're like, heck yes, I know what it is. And the next thing you know, you wrap it and it doesn't fit. So Even though I know the numbers, I always double check, and that's how I measure that. So I'm going to go and cut out my Argyle pattern to go on here, and we're going to go on and do that next. Okay, now I have my pattern cut. I do not have like a normal ruler hanging out around here. So this is how I make sure I get my pattern straight. This would probably be easier. I have a little paint pen. I have my little fake ruler. I make a little mark. Make a little mark. And helps be in frame. Make a little mark. So therefore, when I go and add my pattern, I have a little guide here to make sure I get it straight, because I can't even tell you how many times I've done this and not gotten it straight. So let's add our pattern, and off we go. All right, guys, handy dandy little cup holder. Cup. We have our pattern cut out. We're gonna go ahead and take that off. Go, 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 go. There we go. Get rid of that. Okay. I have move that over. I have transfer tape. Stay. Already cut. Be sure you are holding your pattern down firmly before you add your transfer tape. I guess it'd be helpful to actually put this in frame, right? Right, okay. Again, with your bottom fingers, hold your pattern down very firm, or you're gonna get a bubble and you are going to get wrinkles, just like that, in your tape. So, and then let's pull this off. Oh, I hate when it does that. There we go. Okay. Now, how do we want to do this? I am going to start this way, to be honest with you. All right, so here's my little spots here. You want to keep your thing up. All right, and you want to line this up. Probably would have been helpful to do this slightly different. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Hold that thought. I'm actually going, since I'm going to do a line, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an actual line. I'm going to use this paint pen. It's a little more water-based. And that way, even though I don't think it's going to be an issue, I'd rather... I stole this from my husband, and I promise I am not the one that broke it. Okay. And that's going to be our little guideline. If this was a straight edge, then that wouldn't have been necessary. But since they're points with obviously negative space here, it's inevitable that I am going to mess that up. So, okay. Bottom and top, equally spaced from point to point. Yes. Oops, there. Line up that, line up that. I think we're good. Nope. Come back, come back, come back, come back. Abort, abort. All right. Bottom and top. It's kind of hard to see the bottom with the dark purple. I think we're good. I think we're good. Okay. And now that we got started, we're going to let this part hang just a little bit. And I'm just going to go through and slowly add that decal all the way around. I can already see there's a bubble in there, but that's all right. We'll fix it. It's one of those things where you're doing something awkwardly because you're doing a video. If I was doing this normally, I probably wouldn't have nearly as much of an issue. She says, All right, I think we're pretty straight. All right, happy, happy. Go ahead and start pulling this off. Got a couple little ripples, but that's all right. You mostly just want to make sure your argyles are not coming up, and they're not. Okay, so if you have something like that, can you see this? Right there. It's like a little bubble, little air bubble trapped. Take your craft knife, just gently put it under there, and then it's going to release that air, and you can just press it down. Whoopsie. Okay. Because no matter how straight you put it on, sometimes bubbles happen. And if it's something that popping your craft knife under there won't fix, lightly pop it under the edge at the point, pull it up, let that air escape, and then push it back down. And I think that does it. Booyah. I think what we're going to do first, we're going to go ahead and with that black paint pen, we're going to, oh so carefully, oh so evenly, rim out that top. And then what we're going to do, is it going on there? There we go. It helps to press down. All right, so we are going to rim this out. And then we're going to paint the bottom. And then we're going to send it for epoxy. All right, so we rimmed out that top part there. We are going to get rid of our line right here. We're going to paint the bottom, just a real quick little burst of black spray paint down here, and then we're going to send it for epoxy. Yay! She's turning out so pretty. Add a very thin layer of epoxy to your cup, and don't forget to blow out all of your micro bubbles with a torch. Next, you're going to work on your stripes. I went into my design space, I cut silver stripes and then minimized the width by 50%, did black ones, minimized again by 50%, and then cut the rainbow stripes. You're basically going to follow your pattern. That's really all you need to do. Start with your silver, run your silver around the cup in one direction. Once you are done with that, start moving in the other direction. Start applying your silver stripes around the cup in the opposite direction. Follow your pattern. That's all you have to do, and you are going to be totally fine. After that, you're going to add the black on top of the silver and then the rainbow. Okay, guys. Unbeknownst to me, my camera totally cut out during like the most important part of this tutorial. So I apologize for looking all feral right now, but we're gonna have to use our imagination, all right? Because I don't want you to not see how I did the Argyle, but at the same time, kind of like can't reproduce it either. Thanks, camera. So, okay, pretend this is Argyle patterned, okay? I just want to show you how I do the stripes. Like I said, I apologize. Technology at its finest. This is what happens when you let somebody like me have a YouTube channel. All right, so like I said, use your imagination. I just kind of want to let you see how we do this, okay? So our main color there that we were doing is the silver, okay? How am I going to do this? I don't know. Here, let's just do it this way. So, you know, you're putting your stripes curved like that, right? Let's just do a couple. Pretend these are even. Okay, so you got your stripes. What you're going to do next is, following the same pattern, you're going to take your silvers, okay, your next one, and you are going to go in the opposite direction, okay? And it's going to be lining out your little, you know, your little Argyle pattern there. Follow your pattern. You will not go wrong, I promise. And you're going to, you know, you're lining up your points, all right? You're matching your points, and you're just following your pattern, okay? Pretend there's a big black Argyle right there. What I like to do is do, you know, all the silver in one, you know, in one direction, and then come back and do everything in the next direction. Your black. Now, what I did is I cut the black 50% smaller than I did the silver. And these are going to go inside or on top of the silver. It's the same principle. You basically, you line up. I usually try to get this as much in the middle as I possibly can. And press down firmly, and you can reposition as needed, and then just run that just down like that. Like I said, you can pull up, reposition as needed, so that it looks like that, okay? And it's the same thing. You're going to go all the way around, and then you're going to come back and go in the opposite direction. What I just do with my stuff. Can't believe my freaking camera cut out. Ugh. Go down that way. If you hear any weird random wildlife noises, it's just my dogs because I don't have my office door closed. Speaking of which, here comes one now. I hope that's straight, but you see what I'm saying, okay? Good dogs, they said. Quiet and loving and good all the time. No, they're not. Then what I do is I take the rainbow, okay, and I do the, God bless you. And then I do the exact same thing, except instead of following the silver and the black, I'm going in between the two silvers, okay? So I'm starting the exact same way. You're going to follow your that's way wonky. Hold on. Why are you all making so much noise? And you're going to basically, you're going to follow your lines here, okay? Don't worry about it. Just because you have nothing to really guide you, you're going to be fine. You want to basically get it in between the two silver lines. And then the exact same thing, you're going to go in the exact same direction, or the exact opposite direction. Like that, okay? So you've got, you're doing your silver, you're following your Argyle pattern, all right? And then you're putting the black on top of it so that you've got silver and black. And then in between the silver and black, you're going to go ahead and do the exact same X pattern with your rainbow, okay? I am so sorry that that cut out, because like I said, the most important part, the rest of the stuff you can all figure out. The most important part of the video, and yeah, camera cuts out. If you have any questions on this, just reach out. I'm happy to help you. And again, I am so sorry. And if this was something that I could have like reproduced in a matter of a day, I would have just redid that section. So the cup was already set into epoxy, so it's kind of, again, I am sorry if this doesn't help you in whatsoever at all, and I totally get that. Just reach out to me. I'm happy to help you if you have any other questions. All that being said, now we're going to go ahead and add the rainbow stripes. At least this part was still recording. Go ahead and grab your little rainbow stripes. You're going to very gently and very carefully string them around your cup. You're going to judge your distance between the silver stripe and the next silver stripe so that you are placing your rainbow stripe directly in the middle of the two. You are going to follow your pattern all the way around the cup, and then once you have filled in going in that one direction, you're going to turn around and you're going to go ahead and start adding your stripes in the opposite direction, also going around the cup until you have completely, added all the stripes.
Take your time. Make sure that you are lining up your stripes to flow evenly in between the silver stripes. And I apologize for doing this on my laptop where the cup keeps rolling all over the place, but needless to say, I was not prepared. But anyway, I hope this kind of explains how you are going about adding your stripes. Once you have all of your stripes on your cup, press down firmly to make sure they are all stuck well. You know what I mean? Like you don't want anything bulging up when you send it to epoxy. You are then going to find a super sharp craft knife and then just lightly trim the top and the bottom of your stripes. Make sure that everything is even, and you're going to go ahead and send this to epoxy. But, you know, not before you take a moment to truly appreciate how absolutely amazing this cup looks and how you did such a wonderful job.
Hey guys, what's up? Look at all that! Ah! Like, seriously, how sparkly and spangly and just delicious is this cup? I love this cup. This cup is freaking easy. Like, I really honestly have never done an Argyle before, and I'm going to tell you that I would not even be upset. I wouldn't even do it. Like, I might even just go, I'm going to probably go and like start a second YouTube channel just to do Argyle tumblers, because this is so freaking fun to make. And there's so many different ways you can make these cups. Like, you can use glitter. You can use, you know, alcohol inks. You can go ahead and use like pattern glitter. I mean, pattern vinyl. I mean, there's a billion things. So do not be surprised if you see that I've started a second channel and it's like 15,000, you know, ways to do Argyle tumblers, because these are so freaking fun. Can you tell I had fun with this one? I did. Okay, so let's talk about this cup. The video. Obviously it cut out in the middle, and I'm so sorry for that. You know, it's one of those things where I normally have like 1,200 pictures of the dogs on my phone. I have everything wiped out. Like, everything is off this phone, and I still run out of space and it still cuts out. So working on that. Anyway, so I apologize for that little janky, you know, segment where I'm like, here, how do you stripe a cup when it's not the right cup? So I hope it made sense. I hope you could follow along with what I was trying to do. And again, I am sorry. So that aside, let's talk about this cup. Let's go start to finish. Yes, I painted it white. I painted it white. And that may not be something that you need to do if you're going to do something, you know, different, or even this cup. It could just be, you know, me. And that's entirely possible. But seriously, like, I'm standing in my office and I've got a doorway, a door wall, and I'm looking outside at, like, you know, the outside world, and I can see like through my vinyl, and I'm like, that's not cool. Like, I've seen so many times where people will do, you know, vinyl directly on the stainless steel, and that's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I just didn't want to take that chance that although, you know, those super bright rainbow colors were going to get dulled out by anyway. Because you know me, it's all got to be, you know, bright and obnoxious. So I just wanted to do it on white just to hedge my bets. Do you have to do it? Probably not. But I kind of thought it was something that I wanted to do. When it comes to wrapping your vinyl around this cup, you've heard me say before, I am craptastically horrible at wrapping vinyl around a cup. Today was really not much different, but it did go better than usual. Just take your time with it. Make sure that, you know, you are pressing down on your vinyl as you spin. Don't be like, oh, I'll press it all down at the end. No, 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 no. As you go, you know, go take your time. Just, you know, be slow and steady with it. And you'll be fine. The one part, excuse me, that I probably had the most trouble with, and this is just me, okay? This is just me. I didn't have a super... Every freaking craft knife, utility knife in this house is dull as because I use them so much, and then I lose them, and then I order new ones, and then I use those up, and I literally use them for everything. You know what I mean? Something flew into the wet epoxy, grab your knife and flick it out. Right? You know, we have to take the top off, use that. I use them so much, so I could not find a freaking sharp edge in this house for anything. That being said, like, my vinyl got really, really ratchet. Like, it didn't cut clean like it was supposed to. And that's why you'll see I use the black paint pen
to kind of fill in the gaps there a little bit. If you are, you know, somebody who actually has sharp craft knives, you'll be fine. You won't have to probably do that step. I actually have not one, but two of the, you know, little devices that other tumbler makers have made and sold, and they're amazing, where like you literally just like click it onto the top of your rim and go, and it takes off that top edge of your vinyl beautifully. I don't know where those are, but I do have some, and if you have them, they'll work, you know, they'll work great for you as well. When you're doing your vinyl, I mean, when you're doing your epoxy, super thin, you don't need to be all crazy. We have no glitter on this cup. The, you know, the most that you have to worry about going over is the end with the stripes and the, you know, the offset vinyls. You don't feel like you have to drown your cup in epoxy, because you really don't. The stripes, or let me, I jumped ahead. The Argyle pattern. You can go any way you want with this. I wanted a larger pattern. My first, when I wrapped, okay, I'm in full disclosure. I did this cup probably 3 times in a day. I started out, I had this amazing foil that I loved, that I bought like 2 years ago, and I had no idea what to do with it. And I was like, oh, that would look so amazing on an Argyle. Okay, I can't wrap foil around the cup any better than I can wrap vinyl around the cup. The only difference is vinyl, you have a little bit of play, and if you mess up, you can fix it, and foil, you can't. Because of course it was like a plaid pattern. It wasn't just like foil where you could be like, oh, let me just fix that. Nope, it was plaid, you know, straight lines and everything. So needless to say, that didn't work. When it comes, and where I was going with that, when I did that one, I had a much smaller Argyle cut, and I just didn't like that as well. I'm going to link the pattern that I use down below. I put it in my design space. I took off 1 layer, if not 2, of the actual Argyle, and I stretched it to be a bigger pattern. It's just what I like. So if you prefer a smaller pattern, run with it. You want a bigger pattern, you know, go with what you like best. If you put your Argyles down, especially if you're doing something like this, where your Argyle pattern is in black. You know, if you have a bubble, you saw me in the video, if you have a bubble, if you have a little ripple, a little whatever, with black vinyl, you can go ahead, take your craft knife, pull that up by the edge, smooth it back down, and you're going to be fine. If you're using something more like a white vinyl or a pattern vinyl, you can still do that, but you're going to want to be very careful. Black, you know, you've got a lot of forgiveness and a lot of leeway with that, because once you throw it under epoxy, it pretty much, you know, hides everything. But something more like a pattern or a lighter vinyl, you can do the same thing, but you're going to want to be very careful. And you can also cut out extra Argyle tiles, so that if something happens and you do get a ripple and you're not able to fix it, you could literally peel that off, pop the other one on, you know, you're good to go with that. I did not show the part where I spray painted the bottom of the cup, because to be honest, the lighting was horrible, and I'm out there with, like, you know, sanding dust all over me. I mean, I'm like that usually anyway, but it just wasn't a good look at all. So I was like, you know what, we'll just go ahead and forget that part. All I did to do this is I have like those, I call them mechanic rags, because I remember hanging out with a guy who was a mechanic one time, and he had them everywhere on his shop. They're just like little garage rags. And I take one, I line it up at the very bottom, like put it on this here, because you want to cover all this, of course. Line it up to the very bottom and spray paint your the bottom of your cup. Let it dry, then you can send it to epoxy. Okay, now moving on. The stripes. These stripes were fun. And like I said, I have to be honest, I've seen so many of these and just been like, oh, these are so glorious. These are easy. These are freaking easy. The hardest thing is lining your stripes up. And to be perfectly honest, that's not even hard, because you're literally following your pattern. Now, I do like to go, you know, in one direction all the way around the cup. So here's all my silver going in this direction, and then I'm laying my silver going in this direction. You know what I mean? So I'm not crisscrossing more than I need to. I do the same thing with the rainbow. Follow it all around one way, follow it all around the other. I cut my, I started with that little nail tape I bought off Amazon. It was like a pack of, like, I don't know, 25 for $10. That stuff was trash. Like, it would break every inch, and I was like,
So all I did was cut this off this is just regular vinyl cut on my silhouette. And so I went about probably that big for my silver, and then I just cut my black in, maybe, you know, I resized it by about 50% and then resized the rainbow about 50% from that. It is something that you want to take your time to do. Like I said, if you follow that pattern, that's all you have to do. It's really easy. And then when you're all done, find a craft knife, hopefully a sharp one this time, and then just cut your, you know, your top and your bottom, send it for epoxy, and you're done. I did add a little bit of, you can see where my black kind of sparkles. Can you see that? Maybe. I always add a little bit of diamond dust in my finals coat of epoxy so that everything kind of sparkles. It's not glitter. It's not iridescent. It doesn't, like, you know, throw green on black, you know, that flash. It's just adds sparkle. And so that way everything sparkles. Anything else? I think that pretty much covers it. Like I said, there's a ton of things you could do with this. Like, you could change out this, you know, for like pattern vinyl. When I say I wanted to like do 100 of these, I really honestly do, because I really thought these were going to be complicated. Remember when tanagrams came on the scene and everyone was like, oh, let's run and do those. Never freaking again. Oy. If you don't know what those tumblers are, it's where it's like you have a pattern and it's like 200 individual little blocks, and every single block is a different color. Gorgeous, stunning. To the girls that do that for a living and that's your entire business, you're my hero. You are a rock star. But I did one once and never again. And I kind of thought this was going to be the same way. And I was like, I'm going to do one. I'm going to hate it. No, this is amazing. These are fun. These are a lot of fun. And you're going to have fun doing it too. So get as creative as you want with it and roll with it. If you have any questions, definitely reach out. I'm on social media everywhere. You can always find me. And if you were inspired by this video in any way and you make your own cup, especially if it's an Argyle cup, definitely tag me. I would love to see your work. I really honestly would. That pretty much wraps up this week's video. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys have a great week. I'll see you next time. Bye.